Hello everyone and welcome back to another Universe Sandbox video, and today we're going to do another episode of evolving a binary system from birth to death. So this is part 2 and probably the finale of this one actually, so we haven't got that many objects to work with, so we can obviously make it run a little quicker than the previous ones of these we've done. But without further ado, let's hop straight into this. So if you saw the last episode, definitely recommend checking it out before you check this one out. But we had a lot more planets than this originally, but a lot of them just got ejected, so we just got rid of them. So yeah, this is currently our system in its current form, so we don't have many planets left here, so I wonder how many will even survive the red giant phase, really, because currently these stars are basically at their present day forms. As we can see, Proto-Alpha there, and then Proto-Sun. They don't need to be called Proto anymore, that's for sure. So we've got the Sun, and then we'll just call this one Alpha. So there we go. So they're in their present day forms. Let's just go ahead and actually save that, just so we don't have to keep doing it every time in case anything goes wrong. So there we go. Cool. Right, so the Sun and Alpha there in their present day sort of formations here. So now we're going to be entering the end of this system, basically. So let's continue to run the simulation like we do at its high speed. Let's see how the orbits continually change. Obviously, remember, the planets like to swap between stars in this system as well. So it is pretty hectic in here. So we can see Alpha is the main star, but then obviously we have the Sun that goes around Alpha as well. I mean, their binary, we can see another planet transfer going on there. I mean, that is awesome how that works. And it also upsets the orbits of the other stars as well. So look at that. So we can see Capturn B just swap stars. I mean, the star transformations are crazy. It looks like we may have actually just lost a planet completely there. Looks like Ups and Bands has just been ejected from the system, possibly. I don't know if it's going to hang on. Honestly, I mean, its orbit, it looks like it still has in some sort of orbit, but it's not hanging on well. But we'll leave it in here for the time being because it's still sitting relatively around here. So we can see the main sort of system areas here. As you see there, so we can see our inner system again is also pretty hectic. Let's actually have a look on planets that could be possible for life. So Capturn B here, this is a possible Earth-like candidate. Let's see how this, yes, it doesn't have any temperature going on it. How's Curio doing? I believe that was a world that could possibly have life on it. Let's see how it's doing. Minus 22 degrees currently, so it looks like the star needs to get brighter for this guy to warm up. So there we go. Right, and then around the Sun itself, the life world should easily be getting some temperature going. And yeah, it looks like it is currently. Yeah, I haven't even edited this object. Look, it's already just evolved naturally to have a nice Earth-like state. Look at that. Hey, so it's got a nice light blue ocean, nice continents. I mean, what more could you ask for? I mean, that's just naturally evolved. I haven't touched this thing at all. And it's got very high stats at the moment. So look at that. It's perfectly in its orbit at the moment, getting the perfect amount of temperature it needs to host life. So it's got super good stats on there. So let's just slow it down. It's also got city lights on it as well. But what do you think of that? So there we go. I didn't even notice that at the end of last episode. So that is very sitting in a nice spot. It says its average temperature is minus 50 now. I'm not so sure that's correct unless its orbit's just had a change. But yeah, it's got nice stats on it at the moment. So looking good. Okay, so let's keep things rolling. So it's getting colder for some reason. What's that all about, I wonder? Well, that's going to be changing soon as we start to evolve our stars. So, for instance, the Sun here. Sun's getting older. It's going to get brighter. So we'll double it up. So we'll do the Sun slowly. So 1.06 suns. The Alpha Centauri is also really brighter, but we'll just give that a buff as well. Because obviously, if this was the Earth, as soon as the Sun gets to around 1.07, I think that's where it will start getting too hot. So how are we looking here? So that's also going to warm up now, as you can see with the Sun starting to evolve. So we can see as soon as the Sun and Alpha Centauri turn into red giants, there may not be any planets left at this rate. So, oh dearie me. Okay, so let's just continue to let things evolve for a bit. It looks like those planets out here are really not looking good, are they? So yeah, the main sort of system is still in here. Oh god, that is very wobbly. So let's go back around there. Well, we can see that planet there. That's Capturn B. So that's orbiting the Sun now. So that is also struggling to hang on around here because its orbit is still being upset by the other planet's presence. So still got a very weird orbit going on there. Maybe it will see some life temperatures eventually, but it's not looking too good here at the moment. What's its atmosphere pressure? Just out of curiosity. So it has nothing. No, it should have something. Let's go to a little higher than that. Let's give it just a bit of temperature maybe for it to warm up. So there we go. So you can see it's trying to meltdown, but it just doesn't have the temperature to do it at the moment. So hang on, where has it gone now? Ah, it's back around the sensor star again, so we can see it looks like it's so it actually has got temperature now. So let's have a look at this planet in a possible lifelike state. So there you go, that's what it looks like. So it's got a bit of ocean on it, obviously still frozen up because it constantly is melting and freezing all the time, just due to its very crazy unstable like orbits. I mean, look at this, it comes in, gets extremely... I mean, look how close that gets to the star. Look at that. That is dangerously close. I mean, that is very, very hot there. So, yeah, it does melt it all. And then obviously as it goes away from the star again, it will obviously freeze up as it cools down. So, there we are. So that is just going to keep sitting in its weird orbit where it goes all the way down to minus again. And then it will warm up. So that thing just won't be able to support life in its current state. We can see the inner, or the objects around the main star here are just all over the place. So the only object that's fine, I think, is a good old LP12 in there. Yeah, I think it is LP12, isn't it? Yeah. So the only object that's comfortably sitting the hottest planet in this system as well. So we can see, as normal, like we always do with this one in these videos, this object's always getting very, very hot. So LP12, there we go. So there we go. How's Curio doing? That was another Earth-like possible candidate. But again, yeah, this one's looking like it may have some sort of temperature going on. I'm not exactly sure. The interface here says it's -5, but when we open the menu up, it says -147. So I don't know what that's all about. Obviously, if we try warming it up, that's a little look at what it could look like, but it just freezes up again. So I think we need a little more temptation from the star. So we're going to times it by 2. So that's a real big increase there. And obviously the sun as well. We're going to give you a buff. So we can see the stars are getting older and brighter as time goes on, and bigger as well. So this could have dramatic effects on the planets. So LP12, we're probably going to see an increase in temperature here as that slowly warms up around the star. Curio, how are you doing? So that's still getting cold for some reason, actually. Captain B over here, this one's now getting to dangerous temperatures. Look, it's not cooling down at all now. Even at its furthest point, it's still staying in that positive temperature area by the looks of things. As it comes into the star again, it's going to warm up. We can see, yeah, its temperature goes all the way down. It's slowing down. Oh, is it going to go into the minuses? Yes, it is. But as it gets closer to the star, it is going to melt like crazy and go all the way up to 200 degrees as it cools out. So, yeah, the seasons on this planet have been... Any chance of life conditions have been completely ruined by its orbit positioning. Sulfur gas dwarf fuel just chilling out there. That's a popular object we have in these. And then we obviously the only gas giant really left in here, because obviously the other gas giant is just all the way over here now, ups and bands. Is it receiving any light, I wonder? I mean, it is fairly far out. Is it getting any light? No, it's not. No, it's completely... It's kind of like a Planet 9 object now. It's too far away to get any sort of light. So, 610 AU. Oh. So, yeah, this is basically just a Planet 9 equivalent now. So, I wonder if it will hang on or not. I mean, where are our stars gone? Stars? Ah, there you go. So, you can see the binaries down there. So, yeah, they've got all the stuff going on. This object's just been absolutely ejected, but it's still hanging on with its orbit. So yeah, pretty crazy. So that is now a Planet 9 like object over here. The other object that's far away, Uranus, it's barely receiving any light, but it still is getting a tiny bit, but it's not going to be much. 143 years. So Pluto, I guess more of a Pluto like orbit this one has. So obviously if you look on this, I mean, it's not very accurate with that, but it's got a pretty hectic orbit. Maybe its orbit will be able to hang on, but as we can see, the ups and bands over here is just, that is so far away. Right, so back onto the inner system here. Let's let time advance for a bit, see as the orbits evolve and change once again. So yeah, the objects around the sun are definitely more comfortable than the ones around the Alpha there. So we can see Life World 1, 80 degrees now. Oh, not looking good at all. I mean, it's still vibing. This is average temperature is 19 degrees. I mean, it's still in fairly good conditions here, but obviously it's getting light from 2 stars now. Well, it was anyway, but yeah, I don't think Alpha Centauri's light will do much, but it's obviously the sun that's giving it most of its temperature here. So let's actually have a look. This is obviously the best candidate for life in the whole system. So how are we doing here? So you can see some areas are going up to 95. So the planet's still varying quite a lot due to its surface grid there. So we can see, yeah, it's all over the place. But I mean, let's have a look at its stats now. Surely they're going to be hurt. Yeah, they have decreased as the stars got brighter. Oh dear, okay. So Life World not looking too hot. How's Tista doing? That was the next object out. This was just a more frozen like Mars like object. It's got a bit of water on it, so maybe this object can warm up at some point. Minus 200 degrees though, so not much going on at the moment. Okay, put the grids on just to keep an eye out. So it'll be interesting once both of these zones merge. I think that will be pretty cool. So let's continue to let things evolve. So how are we doing? Oh, Uranus is coming in for its close encounter here. So it looks like its orbit is still changing. Look, it will not sit still. Its orbit is just constantly just hanging on there. It's not got any perfect orbit. Its orbit's constantly changing. It looks like the gas giant is now orbiting the sun again, which is weird. But it looks like it's going to have a transfer again. But as it comes in and out, it's going to really hurt some of the other orbits. Because remember, this is the gas giant. This one's got the most dominance in the system other than the stars. So it's going to have effects Oh, look at that. It may get ejected. I mean, I don't know. Its orbit is just constantly upsetting the other ones. So, it's not looking good. It really is not looking good. The orbits around Alpha are very unstable and constantly changing. The only object that's okay is LP12 in there. So that is pretty hectic stuff. How's Capturn B looking still? So this one's in the 300s now. So this is turning into more of a Venus-like object at this rate. So you can see it gets really hot as it closes in on the star. Look at it. Look at it. Here we go. Let's actually have a close-up of it as it approaches the star so we can see. Let's turn all the stuff off here, but it's going to increase quite dramatically as we slow down time here. So click play. Also, it's going to approach the star. It's going to melt its surface by the looks of things. So whereas the star, so we're getting closer and closer to Alpha, very dangerously close. Look at the temperature as it rises here. So here we go. Come on. Oh yeah, look at it increase. Oh, look at it go. Look at that. Oh my god. So it gets absolutely scorched as it does its close flyby, and then obviously it travels away. You can see the side it's scorched is still... Look at that. Oh, man. Wow. So obviously it's receding from the star again. It can't retain the temperature, but yeah, that is some pretty dangerous stuff going on there. Wow. Okay. So there's Capturn B. Right. Back onto Alpha. Let's continue. Speed up time. Let things evolve more. Obviously the Sun and Alpha going around, but you can see the orbit transfers are still going on. Oh, it looks like the gas giant. Big trouble for our gas giant there. It looks like the Sun has ejected it, possibly. I mean, the Sun's definitely upset its orbit. I mean, let's be honest. Look at that. It's still coming in. It still wants to hang on in there. Look at that. So it's orbiting the Sun again. Obviously, it's going to have another transfer. Its orbit is all over the place. Look at that. The binary stars absolutely ramage orbits in here. Look at it go. It is just... I mean, what's it trail? Look at this. So remember, the two stars are both moving. They're not in a still position. So let's see as Hat B comes back in here. So let's just see how this works. So it is coming back. Its orbit is also coming back. Very, very hectic stuff there. But you can see that's how it looks all better. But maybe with the gas giant gone, the other orbits may be more stable now. I mean, possibly they may be comfortable. They may be finally comfortable. Because Sulfur Gas Dwarf I don't think has swapped stars. So all the other planets closer should be okay. Where's Capturn B gone by any chance? Where has it gone? Have we lost it? Where'd it go? Where is it? Oh no! Oh dear! Oh, it may have been killed. I think the gas giant's presence has ruined it. Possibly ruined it. Yeah, it's gone. That's been ejected. It's not even hanging on anymore. It's further out than Upson-Band, so we have unfortunately lost one of the Earth-like planets in this system. So we can see that is long gone. Look at this. Completely gone. Minus 244. That has definitely been ejected. That's gone. So it will survive the red giant phase, obviously, since it's not here anymore. So there's our... I think this is only our... Basically, this is our remaining system now. I think everything else out here is basically at it. So you can see Hat P32 is trying to come back, but it's taking a long time about it. So ups and bands. I mean, that man may have lost it as well. I mean, its orbit is still saying it's around, but I don't know. So anyways, back to the stars themselves. I think it's time to evolve the stars a bit more now. So let's just slow things down. Back to orbit mode. Okay, Sulfur Gas Dwarf's orbit is kind of having some problems. So back to the stars, though. I think we're going to have another buff up. The luminosity is getting a bit dangerous now. They're getting too close to each other, the luminosities. So the Sun, above a newer buff, that's going to ruin everything around the stars now. So look, their orbits are almost touching. Well, not orbits, the zones. Life World 1, how are you doing? 142 degrees, not looking good anymore here. The liquid water is still there, but it's probably not going to be around for too much longer, honestly. So, there it is. Still retaining that water. I mean, it is an interest. 84 is the average, so it's not looking good. Next up, we got Tista. How are you doing? Minus 100, still no temperature here. So, as we can see, it's still frozen. I'm very surprised. 0 degrees? No, it still gets too cold. So, it does have some sort of potential. I mean, it does have water. It has an atmosphere, but it's just not got any temperature whatsoever. It's got high albedo, 1.3 atmosphere, so it should have some sort of temperature going on, I guess. But yeah, it just doesn't retain it at the moment. Okay, how are we doing around Alpha? So Curio, how are you doing? 95 degrees on Curio, so we can see this object is currently in any Earth-like sort of conditions. 32 is the average, so we can see a bit of Earth-like going on, but yeah, we've kind of passed its best moment. LP12, obviously the glowing hot object. Looking very, very hot and spicy indeed. Look at it. Oh, yeah. So that's very dangerously hot there. And then Sulfur Gas Dwarf, the only other planet remaining around this star. So this one is at minus 230, so one of the colder objects in here. Okay. Right. Right, let's let things evolve a bit more now. So let's just let it go. Full speed ahead. We'll lock onto Alpha, thank you. So there we go. Okay. So it looks like the system may have calmed down a bit now. We can see Sulfur Gas Dwarf's orbit is still turning. I'm guessing that's the presence of the sun that's making its orbit turn like that. But that's kind of like how Mercury works around our own star. In reality, anyway, Mercury's orbit is always constantly changing. If you run a simulation fast in this game, you'll see how it works. But yeah, Mercury's orbit does something quite similar to that. But other than that, it looks like the system may have finally stabilised. Now that the gas giants are gone. Oh, they are long gone. Yeah, they can go. We don't need these anymore. All these objects are lost. They're not coming back. So we'll get rid of all those. This is all that's left. So now the gas giants are gone. The orbits have kind of stabilised. You can see there's not really any changes. I think both of the planets around the sun are fine. Both of the objects around Alpha, oh no, all three objects around Alpha are pretty much fine, apart from Sulfur Dwarf, but it's still, I mean, it's sitting there fine. I mean, it's just having its orbit constantly changed by the pull of the sun, but it's not doing anything other than that, so that's fine. So, interesting stuff indeed. Okay. Right, so calming things down again, I think it's time. We'll throw another save in, of course. Let's get that saved. So, let's save. There we go. Right, so now we're going to really start entering the very hot conditions of the red. We're going to, yeah, definitely start entering the red giant phase shortly. So luminosity, getting a lot bigger here. Obviously with the sun, brighter there as well. So the zones have now merged. So this is going to be double the trouble. You can see the sun and Alpha's zones are constantly on each other now. So pretty dangerous stuff. Very, very dangerous stuff indeed. So how are our planets looking now after that? So LP12, I'm guessing, is just, yeah, that's absolutely molten. Curio, 99 degrees. Obviously, the water on there is probably not looking too hot anymore, if that's the average. Sulfur Gas Dwarf, probably some temperature going in here. No, still pretty cold. Tista, still cold on Tista as well. No temperature. Surprising. I mean, it says 17 on the menu there, so we can see it's got a bit of melting going on it. But obviously, if we look on its average, it says it's lower. Life World 1, 200 degrees, and you can see the damage has been done. The water is... There's not much water left, so I think it's time that the atmosphere starts to go a little more Venus-like. So I think the atmosphere should start being that hazy, sort of thick atmosphere Venus appearance here. The nice blue colour has been ruined, so it's all evaporated. So they get a little more dangerous-looking atmosphere now. So there you are. Back to the sun. Let's let things evolve more. So there's things. Look at that. So the orbits are nice and stable now. So look how the system has evolved. I mean, we've run the simulation for a fair amount of time. But you can see, yeah, now the gas giants have all naturally just disappeared by ejections and stuff, and all the other bigger planets got tossed out, so all the ones closer to the stars are fine. So you can see it's crazy how many objects we had originally. I think we had like 4 or 5 gas giants, and they're all gone. They're all gone. I mean, this is the only roster left. Look, there's only 5 planets left around the 2 stars, so I guess this is kind of good proof that, yeah, binary systems aren't really the best places for lots of planets, and I think we kind of see that in reality as well, honestly. But yeah, it's a rough example of how a binary system could play out. Obviously, the stars were quite close together, and some people did mention that. So we'll have to do a binary system with the stars further apart, which will be quite interesting. But yeah, some people did mention the stars are quite close together for a binary. But I mean, yeah, it's just a bit of fun, really, this fantasy. But yeah, we can definitely try for a more realistic scenario of having stars further apart, like maybe 100, 200 AU, stuff like that. So obviously they are quite close. I think I put them around 40 AU. I think the stars are distance-wise. So yeah, they are fairly close if you think about it. So right, there you go. Right, so yeah, that's perfectly comfortable now. So we can really buff the stars now. So 8, that's going to go double it up twice. So yeah, red giant phase. How are we doing around Alpha again with you? Double it up. So we can see 12.4 suns. So they're getting there. Well, let's actually compare it to the red giant sun as well, and just see how far we have to go. So the red giant sun is around 0.6-ish AU, 0.7, 0.8 AU. Where is our red giant sun? Here it is. So this is how large the stars will probably get. So we can see, yeah, LP12 isn't going to survive, and obviously the sun. Okay, so the planets around the sun should be okay, but yeah, it's going to get really darn big. So plate. Look at the zones. Oh man, look at the zones now. The red zone of the sun is almost rubbing on the red zone of Alpha. So yeah, double trouble. Looks like the sulfur gas dwarf is also getting the heat of things now. Obviously 2 stars, both giving it equal sort of temperature problems. I mean, that is really hectic indeed. Curio, how are you doing? 308. I think that the system has gone past any habitability now, and it's now on its last legs. So LP12 again, 1200. That is just completely had it. Life world over here. 400 degrees, and it's completely ruined. No life left, no water. It's all gone, ruined. And then the only other object, 139 degrees on Tista, so it's just gone too hot. It's got some water on it. Average temperature, let's see, 40 degrees. So you can see we've kind of caught it in a possible life condition, but it's just not going to last because the stars are just getting bigger and brighter too often now. So yeah, that nice temperature will not be there too much longer. Okay, back to the sun though. Double it up again so we can really see the danger coming now. The stars, the red zones have merged. So, yeah, absolute maximum trouble now. So, let's keep it going. Speed things up. As we can see, the objects are not going to be looking good. We can see LP12 is glowing hot. It's not looking good at all anywhere in the system now. I mean, that is... both of the zones are completely merged. So, that is not good. A life world, how are you doing? 400 degrees, so this is a full-on Venus-like object now. So, nothing left on it. The atmosphere is just... gone. It looks like it's lost its atmosphere just due to all the star radiation and stuff. Look at that. There is no atmosphere left by the looks of it. It's completely had it. So look at the state of that now. This was once an Earth-like world. Look at the state of that. That is absolutely ruined. Completely ruined. Next up we have got Tista. Again, 87 degrees. It's the only cool planet, I guess, now. Sulfur gas dwarf, minus 63 for some reason. LP12, 1300, and Curio is now 277. So yeah, not looking good at all. So yeah, they are just dangerously getting bigger and brighter here. So again, bigger. If we look in AU now, 0.1 AU. Oh man, okay. The sun. So this is still a little farther behind, but if we get a comparison of the two stars, you can see the sun is working its way, but Alpha is slightly bigger, so it's burning a little quicker. So there you go, it's burning through its hydrogen. Okay, so how are we looking now? I mean, I don't think we really need to pay attention to the planets anymore, because I mean, I think it's pretty obvious what's going on. Life World 1, look at that though. I mean, let's have a little peek. Not looking good at all. World once possible for life, very nice conditions, a beautiful looking planet, now just reduced to an absolute mess. So there's that one, and then Curio as well. This one's also glowing hot now. What an Earth-like world once upon a time. There you go. So that is just, that's big trouble indeed. Sulfur gas dwarf, how are you doing? So again, that's, yep, hot temperatures there, not looking good at all. Okay, I think we may have to go to the full limit now of size. So, luminosity, I mean, we're going to really buff it up. So we can see it's gone into AU now. So we're going to go to maximum sort of size, 0.5 AU. So that is dangerously large. And then again with the sun, 0.4, 0.8 AU maybe for the sun. I mean, if we're doing the sun at 0.8, this one should in theory be bigger. So LP12 destroyed by the star. Too big, engulfed. So there you go. So this star, obviously this one's got to be around 0.9ish. So almost 1 AU, we're going for a little bigger than the sun. So there you go. So this is the stars in their final sort of phases before becoming a planetary nebula. Because remember, these are red giants. These aren't super giants or hyper giants. These are just going to die off like a more normal star. So these won't be... I mean, we can do a nova for fun, but I mean, they won't... They're definitely not... No, there's no way anything is surviving this. So, yeah. Not looking good. But obviously, both stars won't go off at the same time either. So, in theory, this star should go first. But yeah, we'll have to see how things go. So, this is the stars in their final sort of states. Now they are just crazy hot. Luminosity is mental. So, it looks like we have to make the star smaller to get the luminosity up. But yeah, let's just make them just stupidly luminous now. So, there you go. 10,000 on one, and then this one is 8,000. Yeah, why not? I mean, we're not going for maximum realistic here. But yeah, go. So 0.6 AU there. Let's see if we make it bigger. Okay, so it won't let us do that. Okay, that's fine. So 4,000, we'll just have it at 6,000-ish. So that's roughly how large the sun's going to go. And this one's 0.9, obviously the bigger star. So there you go. What do you think of that? So plate, LP12. Oh, and there you go. This is that star's popped. Oh no! And we didn't save it. Oh dear. But yeah, there you go. So that star just couldn't hold it anymore. Obviously, these guys are still actually running around the sun, but obviously that star's popped. So that'll break the binary system. But let's actually go ahead and reopen that. LP12 somehow survived being inside a star. That is a glitch at the moment. Stars don't destroy planets, which is really weird. So there we go. Let's go back in here. So we know what we need to do. We just need to make them just ridiculously luminous. So let's do that again. So where are we? Luminosity. So we're just going to go stupidly large size. There you go. So that is that's probably good enough. So there's alpha nice and large now. 1 AU probably isn't a good idea, though, because I think it just pops if we do that. So, there you go, something like that. Let's try something like that. And obviously the sun. Oh, man, that is just mental. Right. Yeah, something like that. Okay. Cool. So, we'll try and save it. I'm hoping this will run. LP12 will just manually delete because it's just inside the star now. That shouldn't even be there anymore, so I don't know why the star doesn't just dissolve it, but yeah, that is gone. Okay, run. Let's try. Play. Right, okay, so this is the system right before the stars are going to pop, basically. That's what we're at now. So you can see this, the remaining 4 planets are just all smoking up. There is no chance for survival here. They are way too close. I mean, let's just have a look on the sulfur gas dwarf here. I mean, remember, there's 2 stars. So you can see both red giants are very large in the night sky. Or in the day. I mean, let's just have a look on the daytime surface. I mean, once 2 little stars in the sky are now absolutely enormous in the day sky. So what do you think of that? So you can see the primary star and then even the secondary star. We're not even orbiting that star. But look how large that star is now. That is just... that is crazy. So there you go. Back to the trails. Orbits. Okay, there you go. So, how's the other planets? That was this one. So, Curio, it's just boiling now. I'm guessing around the sun as well. Both planets in here are just history as well. So, Life World 1. What has happened there? Look at the state of that. Honestly, that is just ruined. Tista, also boiling hot. Okay, so there you go. But I think it's about time that the first star pops. So, again, we'll just throw another save in quickly. So, there you go. Make it bigger. There you are. Right, so we're now on the final part of this system's evolution. So, in theory, there should be a white dwarf made out of this. So, we need to make a nova and then place a new object in the middle because the game doesn't do it for us anymore, which is really, really annoying. So, how are we going to run this? So, I think the best way to do it... what's a white dwarf? A Sirius B is a white dwarf, isn't it? A Sirius B. We'll just use that as an example. So, where are we? Sirius B? Radius. Okay, so this is a white dwarf star. Okay, so we want to replace these with Sirius B. So, how are we going to do that? I think the only way to really do it is... I'm going to place Sirius in there, because this is a star that's popping first. So, then all we need to simply do is explode it. No, we don't want a laser. No, that's not going to do anything. Explode. Pop. There you go. Okay, so you can see supernova. Even though this star isn't a nova, we're just doing it for a little extra effect. The white dwarf should be in there. Sirius B, okay. And obviously these objects are going to need to orbit Sirius B. Or they'll orbit the sun, maybe? I'm not sure. Auto-orbit, and then auto-orbit. So I'm not sure if that's going to work, but I don't think these planets are going to make it out anyway, so I don't think it really matters. So, slow it down. Click play. Oh god, right, so they've got... Oh, yeah, they've been disintegrated anyway. And around the sun... Yeah, even though the sun hasn't popped, the sun's been increased in temperature anyway. But I'm guessing that would probably blow the sun up too, to be honest. Having that just do it, so... Or maybe the sun gets a slightly more fuel from it, but who knows. But yeah, Sirius B, the explosion of that. So the explosion of Alpha Centauri, which was the bigger star, that's now gone. It's just disintegrated all the planets anyway, so there's not really any point blowing the sun up because there's nothing left. So in theory, we can just turn this into a white dwarf manually. So let's just make it really small. It's lost all its mass. Radius 2 Jupiters, smaller than that. And there you go. White dwarf version of the sun right there. There you go. So that's roughly white dwarf sun. There you are. So that's it. That's in theory what would happen. So... Obviously, the supernova is just for extra effect, but even if the planetary nebula went off and the star just obviously exploded when at the end of its life, I'm pretty sure none of those planets would have survived. I mean, they were way too close for them, and they're Earth-like size. There's no way those guys would have survived, if you ask me. So, yeah, that's all that's left. So we have 2 stars. Obviously, they're the only things left. So they'd be in a binary orbit now. So, you know, I don't know how that'd work, but yeah, that's mainly it. So simulation, for instance, I think we'd have to manually sort of set the orbits up, but yeah, they'd basically just sit probably in their binary still. I mean, the gravitational, so yeah, something like that. So they'll just sit as binary stars for until they become black dwarfs in theory now. So that would take a very long time, but obviously the sun, Sirius B, I mean, over just a stupid amount of time here, they'd just eventually go to 0. Oh, it won't even let us go to 0. Oh, what the heck? But yeah, they'd eventually just cool down into black dwarfs. So, can we do it with the sun? No. 0 degrees. Do we have to pause it to do 0 degrees? There you go. That's what we want to see. So they would eventually just turn like that and just be black dwarfs just sitting there in the darkness of space pretty much forever. So there you go. That is the end of evolving a binary system from birth to death, guys. Or a binary system with very, very close stars. Because I think we do need to rerun this with a bigger orbit distance. Because also we lost all the planets. So we need to try and run a binary system. Or maybe a trinary with a red dwarf somewhere in there. And try and run it with more planets and see how that evolves. So yeah, let me know if you guys want to see that, or if you've got any other scenarios we can try evolving from birth to death. Let me know down below. But with that all said and done, guys, I hope you enjoyed this 2-part little series of evolving a binary system. And yeah, with that all said and done, guys, let's see if we can go for 40 likes on today's video. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe for more. Helps on the journey to 22,000 subscribers now, guys. And yeah, with that all said and done, make sure you have a great day. Stay safe out there, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.